بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم
Assalamu alaikum. This is Monday, the 27th of February 2023, and in our series Reflections on the Holy Quran, this is broadcast number 396. And these days we are looking at the meanings of the words of Al-Baqarah, chapter 2, verse 108. And this is this is our third broadcast about the words of this verse of the Holy Quran. These broadcasts are brought to you by Laser, Lahore Ahmadiyya School of Education in Religion, which is a department of the Ahmadiyya Association for the Propagation of Islam. The Ahmadiyya movement was founded by Hazrat Mirza Ghulam Ahmad. His teaching was that although other Muslims say that a prophet can come after the Holy Prophet Muhammad, this is incorrect, because the Holy Quran says that the Holy Prophet was Khatamun Nabiyyin, and the Holy Prophet explained that by saying, Ana Khatamun Nabiyyin, La Nabiya Badi. That is, I'm Khatamun Nabiyyin, and it means there is no prophet after me. So now no prophet shall come. And the companions of the Holy Prophet Muhammad became worried by this, and they asked the Holy Prophet Muhammad Sallam that in the previous ummahs, when guidance was needed, a prophet would come, and if prophethood has come to an end, how will this ummah receive guidance from God? And the Holy Prophet said that God will raise reformers, mujaddideen, and they will carry out this task. And Hazrat Mirza Ghulam Ahmad said that in the chain of Mujaddids, he was one link. Many had gone before him. But he said his distinction from other Mujaddids was that in other hadiths, there are prophecies of a Messiah coming and a Mahdi coming, and people think that there are two distinct separate personalities. And he explained that they're not separate personalities, but they describe the work that a particular Mujaddid is going to do, and that he is that Mujaddid to whom these titles Messiah and Mahdi apply. He also, Hazrat Mirza Ghulam Ahmad Sahib, Hazrat Masih Maud alayhi salam, also explained that these misunderstandings arise because Muslims don't take the sources of their religion in the correct order. They say Hadith comes first. And if there's a contradiction between the Hadith and the Quran, you reject the Quran, you abrogate that verse of the Quran, and you accept the Hadith. He said this is not correct. The sequence in which we should take our sources is number one, the Holy Quran, number two, the Sunnah of the Holy Prophet Muhammad, and number three, a Hadith, and then other things. And he said that, by getting this sequence wrong, people say some verses of the Holy Quran are abrogated, some say some prophetic revelation is missing from the Holy Quran, etc. But he said, no verse of the Holy Quran was, is, or ever shall be abrogated, and there is no prophetic revelation missing from the Holy Quran, because God has said, I revealed it and I will protect it. So how can something that has God's protection not be 100% correct? And Hazrat Sahib said that jihad is a fundamental duty of every Muslim. But as explained by the Holy Prophet when he was returning from fighting, he said that Muslims were coming from the minor jihad to the major jihad, and explained that the major jihad is jihad bin nafs, a struggle, a fight with our own greed and selfishness and other desires. And he also said that yes, these are matters of a difference of opinion. But this doesn't mean that we should call each other kafirs and heretics and outside the pale of Islam and all this kind of thing. Because the Holy Prophet Muhammad has said that if one reciter of the kalima says to another reciter of the kalima, you are not a Muslim, then it's the person saying it who goes out of the fold of Islam. So we should reflect upon these things carefully. Let's turn to the verse of the Holy Quran. Gone to the wrong page. Here we are. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم أم تريدون أن تسألوا رسولكم كما سئل موسى من قبل ومن يتبدل الكفر بالإيمان فقد ضل سواء السبيل. And its English translation is verse 108. Rather, you wish to put questions to your messenger, as Moses was questioned before. And whoever adopts disbelief instead of faith, he indeed has lost the right direction of the way. And the three words we are looking at today are Kama, Su'ila, and Musa. So, let me find my notes. Kama actually is not one word. It's a combination of two words, ka and ma. And it is, ka is preposition and ma is conjunction that connects that preposition to what's going to follow. As, just like. So, the next word we're going to look at is Su'ila, and its root is Sin Hamza Lam. And using these three letters, there are 6 words in the Holy Quran. And in total, they appear in the Holy Quran 129 times. And 106 times. Oh, sorry about this. My computer has decided to rebel. 106 times as Sa'ala. And then 9 times as Yattasalu, and 7 times as Sa'il. Those who know Urdu would know the word Sa'il, and 5 times as Mas'ul. So these words, once as Sawal. And those who know Urdu would know that these words are also part of Urdu. And it means to ask. You can ask a question. وَإِذَا سَأَلَكَ عِبَادِي أَنِّي فَإِنِّي قَرِيبٌ. They ask you. They ask you. يَسَأَلُونَكَ. They ask you. So, this means that they question. But see, when you ask a question, if you look at the word asul with a seal, you find that you ask for something to satisfy a need. The teacher is giving a lecture and the student puts his hand up, and the teacher says yes, and the student says, Mera ek sawal hai. I have a question. So where's the need? The need comes in the fact that the student wants to understand something. The teacher, the lecturer has explained something or mentioned something and the student doesn't understand it. So he puts his hand up. And that's the point, that it satisfies some need that a person has. Now, if that need is not there, then that means that what you're doing is procrastinating, making excuses. You don't want to do it. So you think, what should I do to get out of it? And that kind of thing. Like the example I gave last week when we started on this, another derivative of this root we were looking at. And the example I gave was when the Israelites were asked to sacrifice a cow. And they didn't want to do it. Why didn't they want to do it? Because obviously they were going to lose money. The cow was a source of milk and all this kind of thing. And if they sacrificed it, they would have lost that. And they wanted to delay that. So there was no need that needed to be satisfied. These were just excuses. And they said, what color should it be? How big should it be? What should be its age, etc., etc. And they pretended that, they wanted to do exactly what God was asking. They didn't want to make any mistake. That's why they were doing it. They were creating a false need. Our need is to do exactly what God says. We don't want to make a mistake in that. And Muslims do this as well. That, there is no need for something. And what do? Because they don't want to do it, they create all manner of questions. Just before Ramadan, there's a question of zakat. And you get hundreds of questions on television, on radio, in newspapers, and so on, about is zakat due on this and is zakat due on that, and how much should I pay, and this and that, and so on. What they really want is for someone to tell them, no, what you've got is, zakat is not due on that. No, that's it. And that is the problem. Sincerity is not there. Genuineness is not there. And of course, it had to be so because the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said that a time will come that when Muslims will behave in exactly the same way as Jews do, and that is to find excuses. It's called hila or hujjah. And in fact, I don't know about now, but in the days of old, in religious seminaries, there was a whole topic where students were, a whole unit where students were taught how to use a hila to get out of something. An example is the question of saying inshallah and telling the truth. The question, someone writes you a question and says, XYZ has asked me to be a witness in court in his support, and I'll have to swear an oath on the Holy Quran that I'll tell the truth. But if I do tell the truth, it will destroy my friend's case. And I don't want to do that. I'm his friend. He's taking me there. He's made me a witness to support his case. It defeats the object of taking me if I'm going to actually destroy his case. So the answer, and I'm actually almost quoting from a religious lesson. It says that the witness should look at the judge and see whether the judge understands this or not. If the judge doesn't appear to understand the masla, the question, he's a Hindu or a Sikh or whatever, then you put your hand on the Holy Quran and you swear an oath to speak the truth, and then in a loud voice you say inshallah, and then you proceed to lie, because inshallah means if Allah wills. So the fact that you are lying, it's nothing to do with you. It's Allah's will that's making you lie. But if you look at the judge and you think, he may know something about Islamic law or religion or whatever, then put your hand on the Holy Quran, swear an oath, and then go, inshallah. Whisper it. And then proceed to lie. And that was the problem at the time of the Holy Prophet Muhammad, particularly with the Jews of Medina. And that is the problem with the Muslims of this age, that we are not sincere. You see, if there is a need, as I started off by saying, that this is all about fulfilling a need. This is why a person, a beggar, is called savali. He wants you to fulfill some need that he or she has. Maybe food, maybe clothing, maybe something else. They call it savali, a beggar, because he's asking you to fulfill a need. But if the need is not there, then that means you're not sincere. You're just making excuses because you don't want to do whatever it is. Now, for example, zakat. People, as I mentioned, people try and find all manner of excuses to get away from having to pay zakat. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. But don't bring religion into disrepute by finding some lame excuse about why zakat is not due on you. And this is I mean, Jews were doing this with Moses, wasn't it? I mean, I given one example, but then they were, they wanted to see God and they wanted this and they wanted that, etc., etc. And this is the difference between us and people who were around the Holy Prophet Muhammad, in that they were genuine and sincere. We are not genuine and sincere. They wanted to learn. They wanted to know. We don't want to learn or know. All we want is an excuse for the easiest way out. Well, that's fine. But don't think that you'd be able to deceive God by such trickery. As I said, another dictionary says that means someone asked for something. And another expression using the same word means that someone fulfilled someone's need. And in the Holy Quran, we have in chapter, I think, is it 93, I think, verse 10, وَأَمَّا السَّائِلَ فَلَا تَنْهَرْ. And if a needy person comes to you, don't degrade him. Don't tell him off because you think he is somehow lower than you are because he is in need. Being in need and asking for help doesn't make a person lower than another person. And if you think about it, just think about it. It's a great psychological concept. People don't ask others for help. Why? Because they think it's going to make them lower, lesser than the person who's helping them. And the Holy Quran is saying, no, that's not the case. Why? Because the whole world, the whole universe, the person you're asking for help, he is asking God for help. If he's not prepared to help you, why is he asking God to help him? And this is a great psychological block that people don't ask for help. They suffer in silence and so on because they think that this is somehow going to make them a lesser person, a person lower in status. And God says, no, that's not the case. If you need help, it doesn't mean that your status is lower. The next word is easy. It's Musa, which is the name of Hazrat Musa alayhi salam, prophet of God. And it's a proper noun. So with that, we've come to the end of our time, I think. Yes. And I take my leave of you with the prayer that may Allah keep the whole of humanity safe and sound and free from harm. Assalamu alaikum, Khuda Hafiz, and goodbye.